Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So here's a question for you. Have you ever been shopping online, got to checkout, and saw something like pay in 4 interest-free installments or buy now, pay later with Klarna? And you thought, hey, that's not a bad deal, right? Well, today we're diving deep into something that's quietly becoming a massive problem for millions of people. Buy now, pay later services, BNPL for short, are being marketed as this amazing modern alternative to credit cards. No interest, super easy, just split your payments. But here's the thing, it might actually be worse than the credit card trap we've been warned about our whole lives. We're talking Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, and all these companies that make it so easy to spend money you don't have. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see why this is one of the most dangerous financial trends out there right now. Let's get into it. All right, first things first, what exactly is buy now, pay later? Basically, BNPL is a payment option that lets you split a purchase into multiple smaller payments over time. Usually it's 4 payments over 6 weeks, but some services offer longer terms too. Companies like Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, and PayPal's Pay in 4 have absolutely exploded in popularity. We're talking tens of millions of users in the US alone. And it makes sense why people love it, right? You're buying a $200 pair of shoes. Instead of dropping $200 all at once, you can pay $50 now and then $50 every 2 weeks. No credit check for most purchases, no interest if you pay on time. Sounds pretty sweet. And the companies make it ridiculously easy, like scary easy. You're already checking out online. You click one button, enter some basic info, and boom, approved in seconds. You don't even need a credit card. This is why it's become so popular, especially with younger people. Gen Z and millennials are using this stuff like crazy. In fact, studies show that over 50% of BNPL users are under 40 years old. But here's where things get tricky. See, there's a psychological trick happening here that most people don't realize. When you see a $200 price tag, your brain goes, ooh, that's expensive. Do I really need this? But when you see 4 payments of $50, suddenly it feels way more affordable. Your brain doesn't process it the same way. It's called payment framing, and retailers know this. That's why BNPL options are pushed so hard at checkout. They know you're more likely to complete that purchase when the number looks smaller. And here's the scary part. People are using BNPL for everything now, not just big purchases. We're talking groceries, fast food, everyday clothes, stuff from Amazon, things you would normally just buy. One study found that the average BNPL purchase is only around $135. That's not a laptop or a couch. That's regular shopping. And when you're splitting small purchases into payments, you start losing track. Maybe you've got one payment for those shoes, another for a jacket, another for some home stuff. Before you know it, you've got payments coming out every week, and you can't even remember what you bought. This is where the invisible debt starts piling up. It doesn't feel like debt because there's no interest, no credit card statement, but trust me, it is debt. Now let's talk about what happens when you miss a payment, because this is where BNPL can get really nasty. First off, these companies will tell you there's no interest. And technically, that's true if you pay on time. But miss a payment? Oh boy, late fees can range anywhere from $7 to $35 per missed payment, depending on the company and the purchase amount. And these can add up fast. But here's what's even worse. Some BNPL companies will report missed payments to credit bureaus. So that no credit check service you thought was separate from your credit? Yeah, it can still tank your credit score if you mess up. And unlike a credit card where you get one monthly statement and you know exactly what you owe, BNPL payments are all over the place. Different dates, different companies, different amounts. It's chaos. I've read stories of people who had 10, 15, even 20 different BNPL accounts running at the same time. They literally couldn't keep track. Payments failed because they didn't have enough money in their account that specific day. Overdraft fees from their bank. Late fees from the BNPL company. It snowballs. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. These services often link directly to your debit card. So when that payment is due, it just takes the money, even if that means you don't have enough left for rent or groceries. With a credit card, at least you have some control. You can decide how much to pay. With BNPL, the payment happens automatically. And if you don't have the money, you're hit with fees. Here's the really dangerous pattern I'm seeing. BNPL makes it so easy to overspend without realizing it. Think about it. With a credit card, you have a credit limit. When you hit that limit, you can't spend more. It's a hard stop. But with BNPL, there's no overall limit. You can have accounts with Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, Zip, PayPal Pay, and Four, all at the same time, each one approving you for more purchases. One person might think, oh, I can afford $50 every 2 weeks. But then you do that across 5 different services, and suddenly you've got $250 going out every 2 weeks. That's $500 a month just in BNPL payments. And because it doesn't show up on your credit report the same way, unless you miss payments, lenders have no idea how much you actually owe. You could be drowning in BNPL debt and still get approved for more. There's even a term for this now: phantom debt. Debt that exists but isn't tracked anywhere official. And it's becoming a real problem. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, actually put out a warning about this. They're concerned that people are taking on way more debt than they can handle, and nobody's really keeping track of it. So if BNPL is causing all these problems, why is it everywhere? Why does every store offer it now? Simple, because it makes retailers a ton of money. Studies show that when stores offer BNPL, people spend 20 to 30% more on average. They buy more stuff, and they buy more expensive stuff because it feels affordable. The BNPL companies, they charge merchants fees, usually 2 to 8% of the purchase price. So retailers are happy to offer it because they make more sales. And the BNPL companies make money off transaction fees. Everybody wins, except you, the consumer, who's now stuck with a bunch of payments and potentially drowning in invisible debt. And let's be real, these companies target young people. People who might not qualify for credit cards or who are scared of credit cards because they've heard how dangerous they can be. So they position BNPL as the smart, modern alternative. No interest, no credit check. But they don't talk about the late fees, the overdraft fees, the spending spiral, or the fact that you're still going into debt. It just looks different. All right, so what do you actually do with this information? I'm not saying BNPL is evil or that you should never use it, but you need to be smart about it. Rule 1, treat BNPL like debt, because it is. Just because there's no interest doesn't mean it's free money. You owe that money and you need to pay it back. Rule 2, keep track of everything. Write down every BNPL payment you have, when it's due, how much it is, what account it's coming from. Set calendar reminders. Don't rely on just getting a notification the day before. Rule 3, only use it for planned purchases. If you weren't planning to buy something and you only want it because of BNPL, that's a red flag. Don't let the payment plan convince you to buy stuff you don't need. Rule 4, never use BNPL for essentials: groceries, bills, basic necessities. If you need BNPL to afford these things, that's a sign of a bigger financial problem. Don't cover up that problem with payment plans. Rule 5, limit yourself to one service. Don't have accounts with 5 different BNPL companies. Pick one if you're going to use it and stick to just that one so you can actually track what you owe. And honestly, if you find yourself using BNPL constantly, it might be time to take a step back and look at your overall finances. Are you living beyond your means? Do you need to budget better? BNPL is a tool, but if you're relying on it to afford your lifestyle, it's not helping you. It's hurting you. Look, I get it. BNPL seems convenient. It seems harmless. But so did credit cards when they first became popular, and we all know how that turned out. The difference is, at least with credit cards, people knew it was debt. With BNPL, it's disguised as this friendly, helpful service that's just making your life easier. But debt is debt. And if you're not careful, buy now, pay later can trap you just as badly, if not worse, than credit cards ever did. So be smart out there. Think before you click that Pay in 4 button. And remember, if you can't afford to buy it outright, you probably can't afford the payment plan either. If this video helped you see BNPL in a new light, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more real talk about money and personal finance. And drop a comment. Have you used BNPL? What's your experience been? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.